Welcome guys. Hope everyone's having a good day today. We get started there in a couple of minutes. Just make sure everyone is on. Actually quick as well. Okay, gonna take a look at Forex Factory really quickly. Okay, really quickly before we get started. Welcome guys. Really quickly before we get started, I want to take a look at the Forex Factory. So the days that you kind of want to look out for is Wednesday. Okay, we got our core CPIs here for the USD. And also Thursday, we got the monetary policy statement for Euro. So we can be expecting some couple of movements here. Other than that, to be honest, everything looks very boring. It's all yellow folders. So nothing that we could maybe the unemployment rates as well here for the CAD on Friday. So these are the 3 days that we're going to be kind of looking for moves, but we'll see how volatile they are, of course, on the day itself. So with that being said, I'm going to wait a couple of more minutes. Mac opens in like 2 minutes anyway, so I'm going to wait a couple of more minutes to make sure everyone's on before we get started this week. It's looking really nice. So let's start off the DXY. $1 trillion support package was approved by the Senate for the USD. Okay, should be an interesting week. So, all right, 1 more minute and we'll get started. Okay guys, we get started now. So first of all, I'd like to welcome everyone that hopped on to our usual weekly analysis. So obviously right now what I'm going to go over is the DXY. So personally, let's actually take a look first of all at what happened last week. Okay, so you can see obviously the market has reacted from our initial point, which we've called out multiple times. It's consolidated, manipulated, and then dropped, trended down. Now obviously right here, we entered another consolidation phase. And remember, consolidation phase is anything where you can draw a box over. Okay, so we entered another consolidation phase. All right, and just based off the 3 market structure phases, okay, that we always talk about, we look for a contraction. We want to manipulate up, okay, clear the liquidity on the upside, and then eventually clear the liquidity on the downside. Okay, so obviously we've expanded up. And now you can actually see here that we've kind of hit a resistance area right at this level. Okay, and if we actually look at it from the weekly perspective, what I'm looking here is at this continuation candle. So you can see how we have this candle, then the continuation, and these series of candles. Okay, you can see we hit the open right here at the end of last week. So personally for me this week, what I'm looking for at the DXY is another push down. Okay, obviously we're still in that downward structure, and my equal lows right here, I'm still expecting them to be cleared. And bear in mind, look what this most recent low that was created last week, look where it reacted and bounced off of. It bounced off right off this key level right here. So this kind of support right here and this wick, and it created double bottom. And when price does something like this, it kind of signifies to you that, okay, it's created some liquidity right now. It got some buy side, okay, liquidity right here. It wants to get some buyers into the market, okay, and enticed all these passive orders right here at the buy side, got them into the market in a bit of profit, and then it should drop again and end up finally clearing their stop losses right here. Okay, so we do have money sitting to the downside, which hopefully I don't think it will obviously get cleared anytime soon. Like, I don't think it'll happen this week, but we should see a nice bearish candle this week. Now that depends. We might end up getting manipulated, okay, and price might not follow the trend perfectly to the T, because if you really do look here, this is just really perfect looking from a retail perspective. Okay, the fact that it broke support, now acts as previous resistance, okay, this just looks too clean for retail traders. So we might get some sort of manipulation, okay, because I do know there will be a lot of passive sellers right at this area where they'd be looking to sell right at this area. Okay, so we might get some sort of manipulation. Price might come up a bit more. Okay, we might have some sort of institutional candle maybe here on the daily time frame, or maybe if you drop down to the 2 hour, you might end up eventually coming up here. But personally for me, we haven't broken any structure. We've consolidated, we've manipulated to the upside. So for me, the next move is down. Okay, which brings me obviously to Gbp Usd, which personally I'm looking for buys now. Okay, I'm looking for a correction up. Okay, I'm not looking for long-term buys, just short-term buys for now. So what I am looking for is, okay, so for me, what I'm looking for right now is a correction to the upside, hopefully at the start of the week. I want price to push all the way up to this level at this very nice IC that got created. And just bear in mind, I've been through this already on a couple of Zooms. Very nice to see right here. So if you take a look, we took liquidity beautifully right at this point. We took this high. We got a very impulsive bearish movement right after this institutional candle was created. Okay, so what we want is for price to obviously come back up, mitigate out of this area before we want to see any more pushes down. And do bear in mind, we actually have imbalances as well right at this area. Okay, so I want this imbalance to get filled in. Okay, you can consider this area to be imbalanced as well, just like so. So my sell setup would be right from this institutional candle. Now for me, honestly could react either after 4 hour or the 2 hour. Just the fact that we have the wick here, it did get tested for our scenario number 1 setup. So for me, the 2 hour candle just looks much nicer, and we also have an imbalance inside this 4 hour. Okay, so obviously the 4 hour would be these two candles right here. So we do have an institutional candle, an imbalance right here. So I will personally look to get off the 2 hour, and if it reacts off the 4 hour, that's all right. I'll skip my 2 hour sell, and I'll look for some sort of break structure on the smaller time frame. Okay, I'll just get in a 15-minute IC, so there's no stress here. So nice stop loss right here, 34 pips. Probably can make that a bit smaller. Okay, nearly 30 pips to a reward of around 180 pips. Okay, so we want to get this low eventually cleared. And once again, look how we have this beautiful double bottom formed right here. So this is going to be our eventual liquidity. Okay, it's like so. So that gives me a really nice trade of 6.42 risk to reward. So not bad here. I will be waiting for this patiently. Hopefully should trigger some day during the middle of the week. Okay. Do you think that DXY is bearish or bullish? Yes, I think DXY should be bearish for this week, but obviously we'll see. Gbp AUD, what you could potentially get on Gbp AUD, obviously you can see there was some sort of there was a lot of manipulation here, in fact. Okay, so we did get whipsaw action. Whipsaw action basically is just liquidity getting cleared off both sides of that consolidation. So you can see how we got liquidity just getting cleared, boom, straight away, both sides, down, up, and then down again. Here I see right here, okay, pushed up. Now as you can see, as I've already been through this last week, you can see how GP Odd is obviously struggling to break up above this level, just because we have so much price action right at this level. So a reactive level, okay, a lot of previous support and resistance at this area, so obviously there's going to be a lot of passive sellers trying to get into the market at this certain level. Okay, so this is why it's consistently trying to test this level but struggling, consistently trying to test this level but struggling. Okay, so I do eventually see it pushing up, hopefully. But right now, what I would look at is obviously this institutional candle, okay, right here. But personally for me, either way, I don't really trade GBP Odd that much, so my analysis won't be the strongest on it compared to Scott, for example. GBP CAD, what you could look for once again is this IC right here. Okay, the open hasn't really been tested, I guess, so could potentially test it right off this level. Okay, overall bullish market structure. Okay, so this is just a pullback for now, but we will see. Gbp Jpy. So as you can see, the JPY has been very, very weak. Okay, so you can see this the weakness of the GBP. Okay, compared to all the other GBPs like Gbp Usd, Gbp CAD hasn't been affected as much as the JPY, because the JPY is so weak in general. Okay, so this is why GJ, if we're looking for bullish, if we're looking for buy setups, GJ would probably be the best pound pair to buy out of all these, because the JPY is just so weak, to the fact that even though we had so much pound weakness last week, it barely moved. Okay, barely moved. Okay, so this is a pair that you want to honestly be looking for buy setups. I wouldn't look to sell this anytime soon until I can see that our bias on a JPY has changed. But for now, I'll still be looking for buy setups on this pair. And thought I hit an institutional candle right there. Okay, so this potentially something that you could look for the London Open. Okay, a small scalp. At the end of the day, it's going to be extremely small stop loss. Okay, we're talking about like a 10 pip stop loss for a potential reward of 118 pips. Okay. GBP NZD. Yeah, personally, I'm not really going to look at this pair. Why is GBP NZD acting very strange? Why is it consolidating a lot? Because if you remember, once again, NZD USD is very strong. Okay, you can see that NZD USD has been pumping, same with AUD USD. Okay, so remember correlations. If NZD USD has been strong, then GBP NZD, okay, is obviously going to be dropping. Okay, and the GBP as well has been weak, so this is why it's kind of consolidating right now. Personally, I don't really trade this pair, so I'm not really going to be looking at it. Yeah, it's just not something that I would trade. I don't really see any clear setups on this, to be honest, right now. The only thing that I would look at would be this sort of level. I tried to find an IC here, but I failed. I mean, okay, I guess we have one on the trio right here, but honestly, we have like 4 other GBP pairs that look much nicer than this, so there's no reason to try and look for setups on a pair like this that's just moving too spiky recently. Okay, a lot of wicks, a lot of manipulation, so I tend to avoid these type of pairs in general. USD Jpy is heading for a daily IC. Do you think it might react off? Is scenario number 2. Yeah, I'll take a look at that in a second, no worries. Not really going to go over GP SHF. If I've been over one GP, honestly, you'd kind of get the gist of every other GBP. They kind of all really move the same. Eurocad, I was, as you can see from last week's live, I was looking at this daily. Okay, sorry, not the daily, the 12-hour IC. Unfortunately, it did miss me, but yeah, it missed me by a small bit. But overall, my bias was a short, so I guess it's correct here. And I did mention that I was looking for the liquidity right here. Okay, so eventually I wanted to clear this liquidity, so we still have a bit more to go, but it should reach this. I don't see us buying anytime soon. Okay, so it should reach this eventually. And if you really take a look at the left here, you can see we have a lot of imbalances that we want to eventually get filled in. Okay, so price, once again, if you remember, guys, my analogy of just imbalances being black holes, the price is just going to really get attracted to this area. And remember, if we get impulsive price action to the upside, we should expect impulsive price action to the downside, because there's really going to be no passive buyers trying to buy in at these levels. Okay, there's not much support here for price to try and get tested once or twice, etc. So I do see Eurocad just melting at this point. Okay, I want to actually take a look at the weekly on Eurocad, because with that being said though, okay, on the weekly time frame, you guys can see that we're overall bullish. Okay, so you can see that we had this consolidation right here. Okay, and then we had this manipulation down, and then we had, sorry guys, 1 second. Sorry guys, kids getting too excited sometimes. All right, so as I said, we had this consolidation right here, and then price is manipulating to the downside. Now, if you take a look at the weekly, time frame, you can see that we have this imbalance right here. So potentially we could just get a 50% of the imbalance fill here, the clearance on the liquidity right here, 50% of this imbalance, and then overall to push up. So this is why I always say to look at price action relative to the time frame. It might look very bearish on like the daily 4-hour time frame, but when you really look at it on a higher time frame, overall it's still bullish. Okay, it hasn't broken any structure. This is the last time buyers this is the area where buyers obviously came in. Okay, so so I was just reading a message there. So this is obviously the area where buyers came in and the last time the sellers sold. So overall we're still in buyers territory anywhere above this level. Okay, Euro JPY overall just been so bullish. Okay, Euro's been strong, JPY has been weak. This is why it's just been flying. Same with the USD. Okay, JPY has been so weak, USD has been very strong last week, so it's absolutely flying. Okay, yeah, I did see someone heading for daily IC. So you're talking about a daily IC, which I'll take a look at right now. Oh yeah, I see it now. Actually, that's nice. Honestly, it depends. For me, I'm not going to take it straight off this IC. I don't like to trade that type of way. I don't want to go against this structure here, because it's looking like it's trending a lot. What you could potentially get though is like a reaction off that IC. Okay, so so you could potentially get the reaction off that IC. Okay, push down, fill in imbalance, and then obviously end up continuing its uptrend. It's hard to tell right now. I don't really take trades straight off that institutional candle on a daily time frame. I will wait for a smaller time frame institutional candle to be created, because remember, the candle that usually ends up triggering, okay, that I see right here, it will usually create its own institutional candle, okay, because it will drop really quick, etc. So you can drop down 1 hour time frame, and once price reacts off this area, you will find an institutional candle smaller time frame and get in. So that's why I'll just wait. I'm not really stressed about that daily I see right now. Okay. Can't see Chef. And this is actually something that I was looking at. Honestly, if you want to continue that uptrend, very simple, nice I see that you could potentially want to buy from here. Same with Aud Jpy, I believe. That's actually already gotten tested. Okay. Gdp Jpy. Not really a pair that I trade. It has nice structure, to be fair to it. It's not difficult. There's not really much manipulation. Easily traded, but we still haven't really broken any structure on the overall 4-hour time frame. Okay. Yeah, we haven't really broken any structure. It's just consolidating. So for me, I'll avoid any trades for now. You can argue that there is a 4-hour IC, 2-hour IC, and a 1-hour IC. So maybe people want to try and sell from here, but I haven't been really studying it or even analyzing the market structure on this lately, so I wouldn't be getting into a trade. Okay, this is personally what I think. Aud Jpy, I'm just gonna go over Aud Usd instead. So you guys can see from this level that I marked out right here, we reacted right off a daily institutional candle. So this is why these higher time frames are so powerful to really tell you where price could potentially reverse from, because even though we were very bearish in the last week, okay, you can see how overall we're still bullish, and we've obviously reached a demand area here. Okay, so we got our institutional candle triggered. I don't think it came exactly to the T here, but it did fill in imbalance. Okay, and obviously it's IC, and the price just started pushing up. And I think that setup gave us like, yeah, it gave us 77 pips. Not bad, not bad. Overall, I would want to see a break of structure, okay? Because sometimes these type of trades in general, they just sometimes create a continuation candle, or they give you a false kind of reaction, okay? You'll just notice maybe a lot of buyers, okay, a lot of passive buyers came in right here from this demand zone, but overall the sellers are just still in control, okay? They just kind of got a reaction, but overall the volume will be to the downside. So we will see. Okay, we will have to get some sort of break of structure for me to confirm, but for now, based off the daily time frame, I don't have enough data or price action in front of me to actually be able to determine what the next move is going to be. So for now, staying on the sidelines and waiting. Okay. On what time frames do you personally find ICs on? So for me, I personally like to find them on a 4-hour time frame. I will check my daily time frame for my I'll check my daily time frame obviously for my market structure and my weekly, and then the 4-hour and the 1-hour, 2-hour, anywhere around that sweet spot right there, because I intraday trade. Okay, honestly, at the end of the day, depends on what type of trading you're doing. Okay, if you're scalping, you're obviously looking at the 30-minute, 15-minute, even 5-minute. But for me, the sweet spot obviously is the 1-hour, 2-hour, and 4-hour. Okay. Gold, yeah, that thing has just been absolutely crazy. It's just been melting. I know a lot of people are just able to catch many sells on the downside because it is going very, very nicely. Okay, it's just pulling back, dropping, and you're able to capitalize on all these pullbacks every single time hitting these ICs. So it's an easy pair to trade right now. So if you can get in on it, you can capitalize on it, go ahead. Personally, if I was to look to sell gold next week, I will look at this area here. Okay, I'm still bearish on it. Still hasn't hit any of my key levels on the daily time frame for it to push up. Okay, which I believe I've been through last week. I'm not sure. Okay, so my key levels, as I said, would be on the monthly time frame, I think. Yeah, so no, not monthly, the weekly, I believe. Yeah, so either this continuation right here, or this institutional can right here. Okay, but honestly, it might not come all the way down here, and it could potentially just clear this liquidity. Okay, right, this liquidity, fill in the imbalance right here that a lot of people might not see. Okay, right here, fill in 50% of that, and then push up. Okay, thanks, brother. The most legit Forex I've ever come across. Appreciate the kind words, man. These are blocks of point of interest, or only IC. Order blocks, institutional candles, bankers candle, whatever you want to call it. Honestly, it's all the same thing. It's just a different name for the exact same pattern. It's literally at the last down or up candle before an up move that cleared liquidity. That's all it is. It's the exact same thing. Gold at 50% of daily IC. Let me take a look at the daily. Oh, I see right here. But honestly, for me, you can kind of see that this IC has been tested multiple times. Okay, so it will decrease the probability for it. Potentially could react from here. I mean, we could check out the 12-hour. Okay, instead of daily, there could be some sort of IC. No, so 12 hours, same thing. We could go down to the 8-hour. These are very underrated time frames that a lot of people don't really tend to check that much. See, there's not really much here for me to kind of take a look at. It could, but just the fact that we have this double bottom right here, okay, this liquidity right here, I want to get cleared. So yeah, and remember, price will always have to go clear liquidity before making an impulsive move. So it will want to get some liquidity, okay, get some orders before pushing up. Well, 1700 key level also. Yeah, potentially at the end of the day, I guess we'll see what happens. But if you're really intraday trading this, just the fact that you can get in on that sell right here will still pay you like a couple of hundred pips. So either way, you just have to see how the day opens. You see how the Monday trap day works, and we can determine what happens for the rest of the week. Also, guys, if you haven't already, please drop a like on the video, on the stream. Would really mean a lot, and would help me a lot in the future. I think we're nearly done. just have USD to go over. Continued sells, okay. Been saying this for quite a long time. I've been bearish on this for such a long time, but we do have a beautiful ICR here. So overall, guys, you can see this week we do have a lot of opportunities, and this is just a Sunday. So yeah, I'm really hopeful for this week, and I am looking forward to it. So the IC, as I said, boom, looking for sells here, and then just so much liquidity sitting under this line right here. Okay, and obviously, not to mention, we do have imbalances sitting in here, etc. Not really going to go over your GBP. Bitcoin, overall, buys. Okay, been saying this for quite a while. And it is starting to make its move up, so I do believe we should get the push up now. Ethereum, we could potentially maybe get a correction down before a push up. Okay, or even all the way down here. But yeah, for me, I don't really care. I don't really analyze Bitcoin or Ethereum, because I pretty much just buy and hold. Okay, I invest in it and I just hold it for a very long time. So for me, it's not like I trade it. So it doesn't really matter if it hits an IC, if it does a pullback, whatever, because for me, I'm looking at the long-term goal. So it doesn't make a difference to me either way. Not really gonna go over US30. I think I've been through everything, guys. Any more questions before we leave? By the way, I appreciate every single person for hopping on. Sorry. Guessing no questions, so I'd say we leave it at that, guys. I don't really want to take too much of your time. So with that being said, I appreciate everyone for hopping on today's stream, and I wish you guys a happy, blessed week. Have a good day. Bye bye.